on. So I'll put it back up.
Yeah.
Got knee pads or block? You've got your own knee pad. Okay. I don't know why I sat back down. We're actually going to start standing today. Give you a false sense of security. I don't know. I've been sitting a lot today. I've been doing a lot of training on my computer, so I thought I'm going to start standing. And it is all about me. Oops, that's on my tape. I just turned that on. Probably just failed the course.
You're going to get a nasty email.
Might have to edit that out. Oh, no. Let me see. I guess we'll go ahead and start. Everybody wants to start standing. It is 5 o'clock. If anybody else comes in, they can slip in the back. So go ahead and find, I'm trying to see who here. Okay, everybody here knows what Tadasana is. Okay, let's go ahead and find our Tadasana. Tuck tight and tall. Lift the toes up. Lean your weight back on your heels a little bit. And then set the toes back down with a nice and spread, all four corners. You're going to start finding some extension in the spine. Roll the shoulders up and back. A nice softness to the knees. Maybe close your eyes or find that soft, dristy gaze. Notice the temperature and the cool wind on our face today. We're going to do a practice today about peace. So see if you can ground into the space, but also ground into that internal and inner peace that you have within you. See if you can feel it with after all the chaos of your day. And see if you can connect with that inner peace. Can we hope to find elsewhere if we have none within ourselves? The Dalai Lama says, do not let the behavior of others destroy your inner peace. To learn to connect with that inner peace, you can tune other people out that are trying to destroy that. Begin to start that Ayuji breath, inhaling deeply through the nose, finding that little constriction in the back of the throat, making that ocean or Darth Vader sound on the exhales through the nose. This Ayuji breath begins to build heat in the body, some balance to the mind. Like to be still, being busy and on the go all day. Feel the grounding effect of your toes against your mat. The way the breath feels going in and out of the nose. The chest rises and falls on the inhales and the exhales. Reaching for the sky, coming up on the toes, finding a little balance challenge here. Pull the belly button to the spine. The breath big, and exhale, float the arms and heels back down. Let's do that a couple more times. Inhale, we come up, lifting the heels, raising the fingers, pulling up out of the waist, getting nice and tight in the core, being active in those legs. Exhale, floating back down. Let's do that 2 more times, just following your breath. Holding it as long as you feel comfortable. Moving in a mindful, fluid way. meet back in our Tadasana. Find that tough, tight, and tall. Inhale, pressing the fingers back down towards the direction of the mat. Getting nice and tall in the spine. Inhale, and exhale, take our gaze over our right shoulders. Softening the shoulders away from the ears. Pulling the belly button in. Finding that place of resistance plus a tiny little tap. Maybe reaching around and grabbing the left wrist with the right hand and giving it a gentle little pull. Kind of tuning in to where we're feeling the stretch today. Notice if you're holding any tension in those shoulders that you might be able to relax just a little bit more. Inhale on the exhale, let's tilt our chin in the direction of our collarbone as we release the hands. Remembering to tuck that tail. Bring the chin back up, back to center. Let's inhale, nice cleansing breath. Exhale, pressing the fingers towards the mat as we take our gaze over our left shoulder. Softening the shoulders away from the ears, pulling the belly button up and in. Finding our edge on this side, place where we're working, but we're not overworking. Maybe reaching around and grabbing the right wrist with the left hand and giving a gentle pull down towards the earth. Stretch on this side. You're releasing the hands and tucking the chin towards the collarbone. Bring the chin back up to center. Let's get tall. Put your one hand on your belly, one on your low back, just to try to get that neutral pelvis here. Just to try to force your body into that neutral pelvis. Inhale, pull the spine up nice and tall, and exhale, drop the chin. Still got that belly in and that tail tucked. Our hands are there to remind us. Softness in the knees and big, big breaths. Inhale the chin up to the sky. Still tucking that tailbone, pulling the belly in. And release the arms and the head back to neutral. Good job, everybody. Let's inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale, bring them in front of you and interlace the fingers. Drop those shoulders. So take the left shoulder, just drop it down and do it with the right. Like try to push those shoulder blades down your back here. Take a big inhale as we get tall, pull the belly button in. Exhale, press the fists away from you as you begin to tuck your chin. Opening up that thoracic spine, that upper back there. Keeping your low back nice and straight though. Just allowing just the natural curve, not trying to arch it. Notice the breath. Notice what it does when we're crunched up like this. Maybe pressing the fist away just another tap more as you pull the belly button in. Last breath. Exhale, bringing the arms around you, interlacing them behind your back. Take a big inhale and get tall. Exhale, pressing the fist down towards the mat as we open up the chest here, pulling the shoulders back, tucking that tailbone, pull that belly button in. Staying here, or maybe starting, just lifting the arms up just a little bit to open up that chest and squeeze those shoulder blades together. Make sure you're tuning into your shoulders. Make sure that you're pinching here. What's going on? Release the pose. Come out. There's your breath. Your mind focused on the breath. Inhale, get tall, release the arms. Bringing the hands to our thighs here. Pull that belly button in. Soften the knees and begin to bring your torso to parallel, pulling the crown of the head and the tailbone away from each other as you pull the belly button up to the spine. Keeping those knees nice and soft. Trying to make space in the vertebrae here. release the arms behind you and exhale, sit back into your chair. Knees lined up over ankles here, deep in the seat, elbows by your ears, belly to the spine. Not holding the breath, rooting down through all four corners of the feet, nice and strong. And then find stillness and strength in the pose. As you work on that breath, 2 more big breaths, make them big. And you sit just a little lower on this last one. Inhale, bring the hands to your heart center. Exhale, bring your right elbow to the outside of your left thigh, finding a little twist here. Breathe into the twist. So grounding through all four corners of the feet. Inhale, coming back to chair. Sitting deep. Exhale, we find the twist on the other side. Mother Teresa says peace begins with a smile. Put a little smile here. Even though we're working, we can find some peace in the pose. Inhale, come back to your chair. Exhale, bend at the torso and find our forward fold, putting our chest on our thighs here. So your knees are bent. Now bring the crown of your head to face the mat and slowly straighten the legs just at whatever level works for you. Finding our forward fold here. Finding our breath. A little stretch to the low back. Couple more breaths. Letting that neck, maybe shaking the head yes or no to loosen up the neck. Inhale, walking the hands forward. The feet back to our downward facing dog. Pressing the mat away from you with your hands to push those hips up and back as your gaze goes between your knees. Maybe you pedal it out. That feels good to you. Whatever organic movements feel good. Maybe it's your hips sway from side to side. Whatever feels good to you in your body today. Sometimes it's nice to alternate, pressing one heel down and then the other. When you're ready, shift your weight up over your shoulders, finding your plank here. Pulling the belly button into your spine. The crown and the heels are moving away from each other. Perfectly optional to drop the knees. Find your position that works for you. If you're up in your plank, go ahead and drop the knees. Untuck the toes, bring the heel, your knees as wide as the mat, your big toes together. Pressing yourself back, reaching your arms forward and finding your child's pose here. Sinking the head and shoulders, maybe your head reaches the mat. Maybe you give the forehead a nice little massage here. On the inhales, you feel your back expand. And on the exhales, imagine that your hips moving just a little closer to your heels. Knowing that it's okay if they don't get near your heels. That's not the point. The point is just to find the depth in the posture that's working for your body. Knowing that if your hips are far away from your heels, that this is a really good pose for you. This is a pose that your body needs. When you're ready, let's walk the hands over to the right, sinking our left hip, dropping our head between our arms, feeling the stretch on the left side of the body. Pause here with the breath and the stretch and notice what you're feeling. Notice it, knowing that if you need a little more, you can take the right hand on top of the left. A little less, you can bring your hands a little back to center. Inhale and walk our hands back to center. Exhale, sinking our hips just a little more. And then walking our hands to the opposite side slowly while we sink the right hip. Feel the opening in the side body. Knowing that this side might be a little different, Might be a little tighter than the other side. It might have a little more flexibility. Always have the option of placing the hand on top, the right hand on top of the left if you feel like you need a little more opening. Connecting to the breath. When you're ready, let's walk the hands back to the center. Coming up on our hands and knees and lowering ourselves all the way down to our belly. Nice and careful. Our hands underneath our shoulders. Allow our head to just rest on the mat with our tops of our feet on the mat for just a second here. As we notice the breath going in and out of the body. Extend the right arm out to a T with your thumb parallel with your shoulder here. Left hand stays under the shoulder. Go ahead and bend the knee on the left leg, bringing the heel up closer to the bottom. Inhale, exhale, roll over onto your side, opening up that shoulder, maybe allowing that bent foot to come behind. Only go so far as you can bring the breath with you. This is a really good shoulder opener, but if you have really open shoulders and you think your body needs a little more, you're not feeling much here, you can inhale the left arm, up to the sky, and let it come, gravity bring it slightly behind you. That's a pretty intense stretch though, so if that's not working for you, please bring it back down to the mat. Connect to that breath. Is there anywhere in the posture that you can find a little more softness, a little more ease? When you're ready, just rolling back over carefully onto the belly, outstretching the left arm and bringing the right hand underneath the shoulder, palms, fingers down, breathing in and bending the left knee, bringing the heel towards your bottom. Did I say left knee, right knee, excuse me. And exhale, rolling over onto your side, allowing that foot to fall behind you. Just finding your place in the posture on this side. Knowing that if you need less, you can come back. If you need more, you can raise the right arm up to the sky. Let gravity open the shoulder. Remember what Mother Teresa says, peace begins with that smile. Put a little smile on your face. Sometimes when we're working on a pose, it's good to remind ourselves that we can find a little, it's hard to be stressful and strained and when you have a smile on your face. It does bring about some peace. Let's inhale and slowly unwind, coming back to the belly. Sinking both sit bones or hip bones into the mat, tops of the feet on the mat. Bring the feet a little closer together. Bring your arms along your side with the palms up, forehead on the mat. Allow your shoulders to relax. And go ahead and gauge the legs, pressing the feet into the mat, squeezing the glutes, and lifting the shoulders off of the mat, pulling your crown forward. Go ahead and lift the arms and maybe lift the legs. Extending long, feeling the chest lift and the feet lift. Staying here or reaching around, maybe grabbing the tops of your feet and pulling your feet into your hands. Whatever position you're in, you're breathing. If you're holding your breath, it's time to come out. And release all the way down. Allow yourself to rest on one side, one cheek or the other. And just allow the body to completely relax. Bringing the palms underneath the shoulders. Inhale and press yourself up into a tabletop position. Tucking the toes and press up into downward facing dog. Finding maybe a slight bit more depth this time. If not, that's okay too. That's not the goal. Inhale, either step or hop up to the front of your mat. Press down to rise all the way up, stretching to the sky, bringing the palms together, maybe a tiny little back bend. And exhale, finding our Tadasana. Great job, everybody. Roll the shoulders for a second. Let's take one more breath before we get into the next series. And exhale. Oh, that feels good to be out here. It's so beautiful. Go ahead and find your Tadasana, your tuck tight and tall. Inhale, and let's bring the left foot behind you at a 45-degree angle, stacking the knee over the ankle and windmill the arms over, finding our warrior two here. You got that imaginary wall behind you with those two shoulder blades. You're pulling the middle finger and the back finger away from each other. Really nice, big, strong warrior, nice wingspan. You can heel toe your front foot or back foot out if you need a wider stance for your pelvis. Inhale. Reverse the warrior on the exhale. Maybe the gaze comes up to the sky. Maybe the backhand slides down slightly more, as long as we're not collapsing the left side of the body as we stretch the pinky finger up to the sky. Exhale, right arm comes to thigh, left arm comes up and over the side of the ear. Pinky pulling away from the heel, pressing through the heel and pulling through the pinky. Closing the fingers to conserve that energy and target it. Have the pinky facing towards the ground as you pull it forward and sink through the back heel. Finding extension into this extended side ankle. And if your knee is not over your ankle, press that shin forward till you have that knee over your ankle as you sink the hip. Inhale, come back to warrior two. Exhale, pulling the back foot in just a little bit. Bringing the left arm up, finding warrior one. A little bit shorter stance for warrior one. Find your balance. Left hip pulling back, right hip pulling forward, belly to spine. Find the breath. When you're ready, find something to gaze at. Get strong in your pose. Engage those legs and launch into warrior three, lifting the back leg. Keeping a softness in the standing leg, even though it's strong. We don't want to lock out the joint. And when you're ready, you can come back to your Tadasana. And find your breath. Find a bit of stillness before we go to the other side. I always like to close my eyes between sides and really just notice what working this side of the body has done. And connect with the breath. Flutter the eyes open. Check in with your stance, your tuck tight and tall. As we inhale and wind open to warrior two, bringing the back left leg back. Pulling through the fingertips, finding that imaginary wall for those shoulder blades. Not allowing this front knee to fall in, pulling it out. The knee should be faced over the ankle, but facing the middle toe. Gaze over the front fingers. Strong warrior. Inhale, exhale, reverse your warrior. Pulling the fingertips up to the sky, your gaze following. Maybe just inching your fingers down just a little more, opening up the left side of the body. Inhale, exhale, just come down our extended side angle here. And pinky finger pulling away from the heel. Finding that line of energy all along the right side of the body here. Breathing. Good job, everybody. You ready? Come inhale all the way back to warrior two. Exhale, stepping in, finding warrior one. Little shorter stance. Knee still stacked over ankle. Left hip pulling back, right hip pulling forward. Elbows by ears. Get your gaze. Engage your quads and your thighs and your glutes. And step into warrior three. Launch forward. Pressing through the heel, pulling through the fingers. It's okay if you wobble and fall. Just find your way back. And come down to Tadasana. Inhale the arms overhead. Exhale, bending at the torso, folding chest to thighs, finding our forward fold. Planting our hands and stepping back to down dog. and dropping our knees, finding our tabletop. If you have something for your knees here, this might be a good place to pad your knees. Knees hip width apart, underneath your hips, elbows and wrists underneath your shoulders. Engaging all 10 fingers to engage those bandhas, to lift those palms, to protect those wrists. Pull the belly button to spine as we inhale and exhale. Just a couple rounds of breath here first. We find an extension in the spine. And let's inhale the right arm up by our ear, pulling the fingers forward. And maybe the left leg comes back for some oppositional balance here, pulling through the left heel and stretching through the right fingers. Belly button to spine, hips level. You can stay here, or you can pull the right arm out to the right and the left arm to the left. That works for you. Slowly bringing it back. Finding that extension first. And exhale, bringing the palm and the knee back to the mat. Pressing back into just a quick child's pose. Inhale and exhale. And come back up as we go to the other side. Find that extension. Find that engagement in the hands. Inhale the left arm up, pinky finger pulling forward, and the left leg pressing through the back heel. Belly button in. Can you work and balance at the same time here? Finding some stability and some balance. Maybe opening the left hand to the left and the leg to the right. Slowly bringing them back. Finding extension in the pose first. And releasing the hand and the knee. Coming down to the forearms. Elbows underneath shoulders. You might have to walk them up a little bit. Extend the right leg back up on the toes. Press through the heel. Extend the left leg back up to the toes. Press through the heel. Pull the belly button to the spine. Pull the head forward, finding our forearm plank here. Check in with your breath. Make sure your breath is okay. If you lose the breath, drop the knees. When you're ready, go ahead and drop the knees, bringing them as wide as the mat, pressing our hips back, our arms alongside our body, palms up, forehead to mat or block. Opening up the upper back and the shoulders here. Allowing your palms to rest on the ground behind you. In this version of child's pose, allows the upper back to open a little bit. Using whatever padding you want for your head. Reconnecting to that peace within you. That inner peace. Stay here for a few rounds of breath. Just make them big. Notice if you can feel the breath fill up the rib cage when you take an inhale. Feel the shoulders soften on the exhales. When you're ready, bringing your hands underneath your shoulders, pressing yourself back up to your hands and knees, tucking your toes, and finding your down dog. Belly to spine. Pouring your weight into your left foot. Let's lift the right foot back, pressing through the heel for three-legged dog. Making space. Coming up on your left toes, making space. Bending the right knee and coming forward, bringing that foot right in between your hands. Knee stacked over ankle. Pressing through the back heel. Let's lift the arms up, find crescent lunge. Sinking the hips as we press the heel back. The back leg is active. Right hip pulling back, left hip pulling forward. rounds of breath. Make sure that knee is stacked over the ankle. Strong in that front foot. We're engaged in that back leg. Take a big breath in as we stretch the fingers a little further to the sky. Exhale, bring the hands to frame the front foot. Drop the back knee and untuck the toe, finding our low lunge here. Sinking, shifting our weight to throw our knees over our ankle, and our hips are sinking, but we're sliding off that back kneecap. Feeling the opening in the front of the left thigh here. We're working on both extension and flexion in this pose. You can stay here, or if we want to get into a thigh stretch, we can take both hands to the inside of the right foot, pressing through the palms, bringing the right hand up to the to the right thigh. Right hand on right thigh, left hand still on the mat. Engaging your quads and your glute back here. Let's bend that back knee. This is completely optional. And you can reach around and grab the top of the foot or the ankle and pull that heel in towards your bottom. Staying here. Or going back to your low lunge. Or we can take the twist here. We can bring the right hand behind, both feet, hands on the foot, left hand to thigh, and opening the heart to the right. Get a twist. Whichever version you're in, you're breathing, knowing you can come back out and come back to your low lunge at any time. We're going to take, let's all return to the low lunge. Tuck that back toe, lift that back knee, right leg back, finding down dog. Pedal it out for a second. And then become still and notice the difference of how one hip feels compared to the other. Weight pours into the right foot. Left leg comes back up to three-legged dog, pressing through the heel, coming up on the right toes. Inhale, exhale, finding our crescent lunge. Use your hand if you need to bring that foot forth. Raising the arms, sinking the hip. Knee stacked over ankle here. Pinkies pulling toward the sky, belly toward the spine. Pressing back to that active leg in the back. Good job. One more big breath in. Stretch those fingers a little taller. Exhale, let's frame the foot. Drop the back knee, untuck the toe, finding low lunge. Sink those hips, sliding off that back kneecap. Just notice what you're feeling here as you've got the right leg in extension and the left leg hip flexor in flexion here. Staying here or bringing both hands to the inside, bringing the left hand up under the thigh, engaging the glutes and quads to bend the right knee, maybe reaching back and grabbing that ankle with one hand or two, or you can take the twist, your option. None of those are working for you, please come back down to low lunge. The point is not to do poses that don't work for your body. Find the one that's helping you today. Get the opening that you need in your body. When you're ready, come back to low lunge if you're not already there. Tuck the back toe, lift the back knee, and come back and find our downward facing dog. Find that breath. Heels moving in the direction of the mat. Inhale, the right leg comes up to the sky. Exhale, bend the knee and bring the knee in between the front hands. Untuck the back toe, straightening the back leg as much as possible. Just finding your place, top of the foot on the mat. If that works, it's okay, you can bend. Find your adjustment for this top leg, whichever. Some people like it a little more parallel. I like my heel a little closer to my groin because it keeps the kneecap closed. Inhale, press through the hands and get nice and tall. Exhale, sink the right hip to the mat. You guys know I teach it this way. Still got nice tall spine. And then slowly begin to bring your torso into the direction of your right thigh. Going slow and stopping where your body tells you to stop. Maybe coming onto forearms, maybe using a block to rest your head on. Find a place where you can sit and maintain the position for a little while. So don't go to your complete edge. The sensation will deepen. Place in the pose you feel like you're hanging on that you can maybe let go of a little more. Maybe it's your shoulders or your jaw or your eyes. Maybe it's the belly. Some place that you can soften just a little bit more. And you can always come out of a pose and take child's pose or sit in whatever comfortable seat and connect with the breath. Well, I always say every pose is not for every person on every day. Just stay here for a few more rounds of breath. Try to keep your mind on the breath. Try not to let it wander to your to-do list or what you did yesterday or what you have to do tomorrow. Keep it on the breath. Take one more big breath in, feeling the body. Feel the body just expand with that inhale. Pressing the hands underneath the shoulders and lifting the torso up very slowly and carefully. Tucking that back toe, lifting the hip and pressing back into that three-legged dog and dropping into our down dog. When you're ready, we're going to lift the left leg, coming up on the right toes. Exhale, bringing the knee in between the hands, extending the back leg, and finding whatever position for your front leg works for you on this side of your body. We press into the hands and get tall in the spine, finding some length first. Sinking the left hip and begin to bring the torso over the left thigh in that direction. Going really slow, really listening to your body when it tells to tell you where to stop. Using your block or your forearms. And then finding your place in this pose that we can maintain our breath without it becoming short and choppy. Notice where your mind is. Notice that it's normal for it to wander off. Every time it does that, just direct it back to the breath without judgment. Time and time again. ready, lifting your head and bringing your hands under your shoulders. Gently using your hands to press your torso back up. Tucking the back toe. And we're coming back into our down dog. Dropping the knees. Allowing our hips to hit, just come down to your, come down to your tabletop. And then just twist over to your back. Bring over to your back here with your knees bent, soles of your feet on the mat. You might want to face where you can see me a little bit. And we're going to lower our upper body down to the mat here. Bring our soles of our feet underneath our knees. And allow the shoulders to sink away from the ears. Exhale, pulling the knees into the chest. Take the right hand and reach underneath the right leg and grab a hold of either the ankle or the top of the left foot. So your right hand comes under the left, grabs the ankle or left foot. Now allow that left foot to come under the right leg and drop the knee to the mat. So your knee is facing your left side of your mat, your foot is facing the right. Reach up and grab your shin with your left leg, on your right leg, excuse me. Left arm to right shin, excuse me. And begin to tuck that knee in towards the chest as you press the knee on the ground towards the mat. Getting a really nice hip flexor opening here. We've got the right leg in flexion, the left leg in extension here. I'm getting double duty. Now if this is intense for you, back up and release the hands and just let the legs stay in that position. A big inhale, release the hands, allow the left knee to come back up and meet the right and hug your knees in towards your chest. Maybe bring your forehead to your knees. On the inhale, exhale, drop the shoulders back to the mat. Left arm comes underneath left leg and grabs the right top of the right foot or ankle and allow that right knee to come down to the mat. Left knee is still bent. Reach up with the right hand and grab hold of the shin on the left leg and begin to pull that knee in towards the chest. Try to keep the shoulders soft and the breath fluid. Knowing that if this feels too intense and the sensation's too intense, release the arms, but keep the legs. When you're ready, let's release the arms, untuck the right leg, bring the knees back together and tuck them into your chest here. Forehead to knees. Releasing the upper body back to the mat, bringing the hands behind, right hand behind right knee, left hand behind left knee. Inhale, exhale, pulling the knees in towards your armpits. Lift the soles of the feet to the sky. Finding happy baby here. You can reach up and grab the inside soles of your foot or the big toes, pulling the knees down towards the armpits. Straightening the neck though, so we're not arching that cervical spine. And then maybe giving that lumbar spine, that low back, a nice massage as we rock the baby. Finding that smile and that peace in the pose. When you're ready, taking whatever last, if there's any other pose you want, your body's craving for, go ahead and take it here. Otherwise, begin to find some extension in the body. You know what? I take that back. I want to do a twist. I completely changed my mind. Sorry, guys. Bring the feet down, keeping the knees bent. Bring the arms out nice and wide, like a T. And take a big inhale, and then an exhale. Let's drop both knees to the left. Taking our gaze over our right shoulder. Take the left hand and set it on top of the knees just as a weight. Either staying here if this is working for your body, or extend the bottom leg long, allowing the top knee to come a little closer to the ground. Now, if that is too much strain on your right shoulder, though, bring that right arm a little closer to the body till that strain eases up. As we work on whatever place in the twist is working for you today, we massage those internal organs, get some flexion and extension and curve in the spine, opening up the shoulders and hips. When you're ready, remove the hand from the knees and bring one knee up at a time. Squeezing the knees into the chest. Big inhale. Exhale, allow the arms to open wide and the knees to drop to the opposite side. Your gaze can come to the opposite arm, extended arm. Your hand can come to the top of the knees as a weight. Staying here or extending the bottom leg if you feel like your body needs a little more twist, a little more depth. As long as that doesn't feel like it's yanking or forcing your body into a pose that it's not really wanting to do today. Find some peace in the pose. Connecting to that breath. Ready, bringing one knee back up at a time, allowing the knees to pull into the chest one more time, giving yourself a really tight squeeze. This time, just let's get really tight in the jaw, squeeze everything really, really tight, every muscle in the body, and then exhale, release the legs long, the arms long. Find whatever props you need to make yourself comfortable for our final posture, Shavasana. Have a blanket. If you have blocks under your knees, that'll help relieve the low, any pull on that low back if that feels good to you. Allow the right leg to just, toes to open to the right, the left toes to open to the left. Your palms can be up, if that feels good, or down. And maybe your hands are on your belly. And then maybe we close the eyes, find that dristy gaze. Begin to imagine that our body is sinking into the mat, becoming heavy from the head, and the jaw, and the shoulders. The arms are very heavy. The hands are heavy. The chest, the back, the stomach, the hips are heavy, sinking, the thighs, the knees, the calves, and finally the ankles and the feet as we feel weighted into the earth. And then find some stillness in the breath, the body, and the mind. body feels after your practice in this position of rest. Before introducing some tiny movements to the body. Whether that be wiggling the toes or the fingers. Maybe circles with the ankles or the wrists. Perhaps a gentle rock of the head from side to side.